As a Christian, following the teachings of Jesus is paramount, and for some, this includes questioning the necessity of vaccines. While vaccines have been widely endorsed by the medical community as a means of preventing infectious diseases, some Christians believe that their faith provides adequate protection against illness. This essay will explore the argument that vaccines are unnecessary for Christians who follow Jesus, examining the biblical basis for this belief and the potential implications for public health. At the heart of this argument is the conviction that God is sovereign over all aspects of life, including health. Christians who hold this view often cite biblical passages such as Psalm 103:3, which states, "Who forgives all your sins and heals all your diseases," and Exodus 15:26, which promises, "I will take away sickness from among you." These verses are seen as evidence that God is capable of healing and protecting his people, rendering vaccines unnecessary. Furthermore, some Christians point to Jesus' own ministry, in which he heals numerous people of various afflictions, as a demonstration of God's power to overcome disease. Another key aspect of this argument is the idea that faith in God's protection can provide a sense of security and trust that supersedes the need for vaccines. Christians who hold this view often emphasize the importance of trusting in God's providence and sovereignty, rather than relying on human ingenuity and medical interventions. This perspective is reflected in Proverbs 3:5-6, which advises, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding, in all your ways submit to him, and he will make your paths straight." By trusting in God's goodness and mercy, Christians may feel that they are adequately protected against illness, regardless of whether or not they receive vaccines. Some Christians also express concerns about the potential risks and side effects associated with vaccines, citing instances of adverse reactions and questioning the long-term safety of these medications. While the overwhelming scientific consensus is that vaccines are safe and effective, these concerns can be compelling for individuals who are already skeptical of the medical establishment. In this context, the decision to forego vaccination may be seen as a matter of personal conviction and faith, rather than a rejection of scientific evidence. However, it is essential to acknowledge the potential implications of this perspective for public health. Vaccines have been instrumental in preventing the spread of infectious diseases, and high vaccination rates are crucial for maintaining herd immunity. When a significant proportion of the population is immunized, it helps to protect vulnerable individuals, such as those with compromised immune systems who may not be able to receive vaccines themselves. If large numbers of Christians were to opt out of vaccination, citing their faith as a reason, it could potentially undermine public health efforts and put entire communities at risk. In response to these concerns, some Christians argue that the decision to forego vaccination is not a rejection of the importance of public health, but rather a reflection of their commitment to trusting in God's sovereignty. They may point to instances in which Christians have been protected from illness despite being exposed to disease, as evidence of God's provision and care. Additionally, some Christians may choose to engage in alternative practices, such as prayer and fasting, as a means of maintaining their health and well-being. Ultimately, the question of whether vaccines are necessary for Christians who follow Jesus is complex and multifaceted. While some may argue that their faith provides adequate protection against illness, others may recognize the importance of vaccines in preventing the spread of disease. As with any issue, it is crucial for Christians to approach this topic with thoughtful consideration and a commitment to loving their neighbors as themselves. By engaging in respectful dialogue and seeking to understand different perspectives, Christians can work towards a more nuanced and compassionate approach to public health, one that reflects their faith and values.